Troy, good to see you.
Good to see you. How you doing?
I don't know. It's kind of like that. I don't know. Good?
Yeah.
Yeah, what my days, I think, are layered a bit different than yours.
Yeah. You've early
Just from the
start.
waking up part, right?
Yeah.
So I think when people ask me that question, it's often like, how you doing? I'm like, I think I'm at a different stage of my day. So it's relative to what stage of the day, you're in.
Yeah.
I was going to say before, I really like you, by the way. And we spent time on your podcast, and I definitely want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Didn't know you, but I'd seen Tenure Town on TikTok.
Saw the clips.
Yeah, and really had a great time on your podcast, and I hope it was well received. And
It was very
you
well
have to say that, so I don't want you to say it. But you have to say it. It's an obligation to say that. But yeah, you do a great job, and I left going, man, that was fun for me because I didn't feel like I had to do what I feel like I often have to do, which is take control. So it's not a dud, and I'm not right when I do that, but I didn't have to do that with you. You owned it, and I hope people hear this and go, wow, maybe if this interview is not terrible, I'll go check out Troy's podcast.
Yeah.
So how are you enjoying that?
I'm loving it.
Still?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things, right, where if I would have known how hard it was when I started, I'm not sure I would have done it.
That's this whole career too. I mean, that's a microcosm for everything in this whole freaking city.
Yeah. So it's been a lot of work, but it's it's been really rewarding, and I enjoy getting to tell the stories, and I like talking to people.
Yeah, I think you like what people should like about podcasting because I feel like you pay attention, you care. You are interested and curious. Like you have all the things that I think I wish I cared about. Where I'm just like, I got a lot to say, and there's another human in the room, and let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
Like that's what I liked about it because you're very warm.
Thank you.
I'll come back to the podcast. I wanted to lead with that though because I do feel that way, and I know we've texted once or twice. But I wanted to say that at the beginning so I didn't forget. But
thank you.
What I didn't know a lot about as far as your career was your music, your writing. I knew you from doing the podcast, but I knew you did the podcast because you were also a writer, but I didn't really know what that story was.
Yeah.
I'm seeing now on TikTok, because I'm a psycho super fan of yours, are you writing again? Are you now writing and making content with what you're writing? Because I'm seeing content.
Yeah.
So where are you in that stage?
So I am writing every day.
Have you always been writing every day?
I've been writing every day, more or less, since I moved to Nashville 8 years ago. Almost 9 years ago now. I'm coming up on the title of my podcast, so something's got to break soon.
Oh, you're about to be a millionaire then. Because if you make it 10 years, you're automatically a millionaire.
That's how it works.
Rule.
Yeah. So I'm writing all the time, and I have been working towards a new record for my artist project. And, in addition to that, I am writing songs for other people.
So is that why I'm seeing you do you in music content? Because you're working on you.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
It's because if you're writing and you have a publishing deal or you're writing independent, whatever you're doing, and you're writing for other people or you're writing to be pitched, you're probably not putting a lot of that content on social media. But it makes sense if you're doing your own project.
Yes, and it is it's quite a long story, and I'm happy to go into it if you want to.
It up. Let's go stretch it, string it.
But it's kind of like what we talked about on when you came on my podcast about like there's this opportunity with making content, which is like the buzzword of the day, where you can really get heard, you can get discovered, you can reach people, and when you're writing and making songs, you're trying to, you hope that it can mean something to somebody. You know?
The environment is very different and also the same in the way of what's great about now is the finger quote gatekeepers have far less control.
Yeah.
But the finger quote gatekeepers are now an algorithm that
Right.
you don't even know who they are. Where at least you kind of knew the devil you were dancing with before.
Mm-hmm.
But the freedom now is that you have it, and it just takes the right thing at the right time and the right algorithm looking for the right for it to hit.
Right. Yeah, you're kind of trying to there's something I heard one time about like increasing your luck surface area. So you still got it. Like if you want to go viral, it takes a lot of luck, but can be more tries lead to more luck, and that's hard work. And I've had, some stuff go really viral.
What's really viral
in the last
to you?
Few reels, last few years.
Define a number, or give me a number.
I think when I posted That's Why, which was trying to think if it was 23 or 22. I think it was 22. I posted it right before Valentine's Day. And I went to bed. It wouldn't post. It was weird. It like got.
I love I went to bed story and woke up and it was big. It's like a Bailey Zimmerman type thing.
It was happening for so many people.
Yeah.
But literally, I posted this thing and I was uncomfortable. I was singing to my camera, not really necessarily my vibe. Yeah, it feels a little goofy. Yeah, I went to bed. I think that one was many hundreds of thousands, if not close to 1 million.
The next day. And I had just gotten dropped from my record deal. So it was like, okay, here we go. I was right. Are you a God guy?
Yeah, in my own way, yes.
And I think it's a great answer. In your own way, yes. Because I am in my own way as well.
Yeah.
I think we all are, and we have our own different. But was that ever part of it where it's like something? It didn't even have to be a God thing.
Yeah,
something bigger just showed me that whatever I lost in that, hey, you've now been dropped.
Mm-hmm.
That maybe it's not all lost. But did that happen at all with you?
Yeah, there's this quote I really like that says, "Opportunity is a strange beast. It frequently appears after a loss," and that has been true for me a lot of times. And it was an interesting time because, I was dealing with sort of a little bit of an identity crisis because ever since when I first moved to town, I had some momentum coming when I came here from Texas.
Momentum based on what?
Based on some music I had put out. And this was very, very comparatively small, but there was something bubbling up and I was doing something that I think, somebody liked. And that
you're artist, you're because you have different versions of your career.
Yes, I have.
So your performance, got it.
Yeah, yes, I have kind of a songwriting, an artist, and now a podcast.
Yeah, you got to explain like I'm 5 at times. Okay, so you move here with some momentum.
Yes,
based on your performance.
Correct.
Performing.
And I had started. Up until that point, I was just living in Dallas, writing, in my bedroom, basically. And I had made a record, and I had put part of that record out, and somebody that worked as like an independent radio promoter invited me. They said, you should come to Nashville, and you should meet some people. So that's how I met a publisher named Jake Gear, and then he set me up on some co-writes, blah, blah, blah. Like a year later, I moved to Nashville. And I got on the radar of somebody at the label, and they signed me. It happened pretty quick, I got a record deal, and that was a dream. At the time, it was a dream come true.
Did it happen so quick that you didn't really dot the I's and cross the T's or even understand that was a thing?
I've been thinking about this a little bit. It was a perfectly fine deal.
Yeah, I'm not insinuating it was Lou Pearlman shady.
Right. It was there's a lot of things looking back on that I wasn't thinking about. And part of that was just like, what do I want to sound like? What do I want to say?
How old were you?
I was 26.
you're just starting at that age
Yeah.
to figure out what you're just starting to figure out.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even know what you don't
so
know.
that crisis,
Yeah.
I understand okay.
So what happens is you come to town. Here I go from writing. I was very rigid with my schedule when I was writing by myself. I woke up every day. I started writing at 11, and I wrote until 2 or 3 in the afternoon every day. So when I moved to Nashville, okay, now I'm getting set up on these co-writes, and I'm writing with people, and now there's these things called track guys. So now you're getting like these almost basically you're ending the day with a song that kind of sounds like a record, but you're going through maybe 100 different combinations of writers. So over time, when you don't know exactly what you want to say and what you want to sound like, you can strangely lose your voice in that process.
It kind of reminds me of, and it's not exactly the same, the quote, if you don't stand for something, you'll stand for anything.
Yeah.
And it's that you aren't for sure.
Yeah.
And you're around a lot of other people who kind of are for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're kind of pulled in directions of what you think might be the thing that works.
No doubt. And what happens is then you get a record deal. Well, they're geniuses. They know. So I want to do what they say. I want to be I want to be a good artist and well liked, and I'm a people pleaser. So all of these things, it's nothing nefarious is happening. It's just it starts to slant towards the middle, and then I'm making music that sounds like the radio, which is cool. But
you've lost your edge, though.
Yeah, I lost
the edge that got you here. You no longer have
100%
because you're now here and you're trying to sound like here, which is very easy to do.
Yep.
Because same. Anybody that moves to town and you're around, quote, these geniuses.
Yeah.
They're just us. And when they moved here, they saw the geniuses.
Yeah.
It's almost a cycle that everybody goes through, and you have to do it wrong in order to fully understand that no one's ever right.
Yeah. No, nobody knows anything. You do eventually have to get back to a place where you go like, what do I want to say? And part of that is just learning the lessons of, taking the hits. I mean, that's a big part of it.
Yeah, to me it was, if I'm going to fail, because I've already failed a bunch of times here doing different things, at least I want to fail doing it my way, because at least that feels like I honestly failed.
Yeah.
And there's a real truth to success or failure when it's your truth, because it's genuine either way. Where if there were times my first couple of years here, I was hated. I was hated because I was way different. So at times I would manipulate or modify, and it wouldn't go well. And it got to the point where it was, if it's not going to go well, I'd rather it not go well with me being exactly me, because then I know it's me.
Yeah.
It's not whatever I'm chasing.
Do you feel like you were modifying yourself to like fit into like some mold that you thought it was supposed to fit into?
My situation, as similar as it was to yours, was different in that mine was genuine. I hate to use the word hatred. I would say uneducated hatred from the industry, because I was so different. Mm-hmm. And the industry is a big evil man that doesn't have a face. It's like when people complain about the radio, and I'm not Mr. Fight for Radio either. Yeah. But it's like radio just won't. That's not a thing,
right?
So when I say that, it was an uneducated hatred toward me because I was different and I challenged norms, and norms that felt comfortable then felt threatened. Mm-hmm. And after a long time of it being difficult for me, I thought, what can I do to make this not so difficult for me? Mm. So it wasn't that I was going, I'm going to do this to get better, because I have confidence in that area, but it was, this sucks. Yeah. Like, I'm having articles written that aren't true about me in like local music industry magazines. I'm having 4 or 5 different type of deals. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to lose some of my edge. So some of that edge is not given back to me.
Yeah.
So the parallels from your story to mine are similar, but the same thing. It still didn't go well once I changed and got a little softer.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just going to be me. And then if I fail, at least the truth is I failed because I failed with who I was.
Totally. Yeah. You almost think it's going to be easier because you give in to what you think you're supposed to do. But the end result is, I was becoming very dissatisfied. I was waking up and looking in the mirror and being like, this feels out of sync.
I feel like you were losing yourself.
Yeah, because what happens is you are surrounded by this system that is holding you are constantly standing in comparison to the most successful artists on the planet. And that is really hard because you are not aware of all the things that they had to do to get there. You're just on, your first 6 months of your record deal contract, and you're trying to figure out like why you're not selling out a stadium yet, and you've got to kind of like, okay, well, I'm going to reverse engineer this and try and sound like this. And it's not even always intentional. It's just sort of the way that like I said, the table is slanted towards the middle. So you just kind of end up making stuff that is palatable to this middle. But in the process, I lost me in there. And that is, it sucked. And it was hard. And then it all went away. And that was hard.
So, and that was my next question. Did it take it all going away for you to realize nothing to lose? Got to get back on my track?
Yeah. So, I mean, it was so out of the blue to me.
When they dropped you?
Yeah.
Oh, you had no idea it was coming?
No idea. I had a record coming out. It wasn't even out yet when that happened, which
What's that called then?
It's an EP.
No. What's the call when they call you or they in your?
Oh, what's the call?
Yeah, what do they say to you? Because that sounds like
Well,
usually it's when something's underperforming. But
what's interesting is that no one ever called me.
Oh, you're still signed. You have no idea, but you're still signed.
Yeah. My manager.
You were never dropped. This just in.
Yeah, my manager asked me to go to lunch. I was not writing that day. It was like a Monday or a Tuesday. We went over to Edley's in 12 South, and we were sitting outside on the patio, and he was like, "Look, I got to tell you something, and it's not good."
Oh God. Dang.
And yeah, I mean, I still remember it.
What was his explanation? What was the justification? Because they obviously saw something in you.
Yeah.
And then they didn't. So something happened in the middle where.
Yeah.
Was there a change in any sort of executive?
I don't know. And I've since seen some of those people, and I've asked the question many times, from my manager, and I don't know that there ever was like a great answer or a satisfying answer. And the answer may just be like it came from on high that they're spending this many dollars and they need to spend this many dollars. Like I don't know. But yeah, it went away, And
did you lose confidence?
I had a really high wire to walk because my record was still the songs that I had done were still planning on coming out, even though they had told me that they weren't going to move forward after that.
So they were going to put it out, but they weren't going to put any money into promotion of it.
Yeah, it was sort of one of those things where like, but maybe if something happens,
it happens to catch,
then maybe
we're not going to invest anything in it. But if it happens to catch,
yeah. So now I'm faced with this situation where I'm promoting a record. My mask, right, is full of confidence and doing like some press stuff, but I'm just defeated, and I'm just waking up every morning wondering like what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I mean, you think it's over. You think that your dream is dead.
Did you have some money to get you through for a few months?
Yeah, I had a publishing deal.
Okay, so you were still writing and getting paid to do
Yeah,
that.
and then I knew that when so I basically didn't tell anyone, even though I knew. I didn't tell anybody for like 4 months. So that was very, very lonely because I didn't want to say something and then it changed. And I was worried that people wouldn't want to write with me anymore if I wasn't a signed artist. So I was like, I'm gonna let this play out for as long as I can before I have to say something. So it went on, and then the new year happened. I think this was turning into 2022, and then my publishing deal also went away. And then you're really faced with like, oh man, what am I gonna do? I had this Jenga tower, and somebody kicked it over, and I've got to rebuild it. And then I thought I had a single on an artist as a writer. I thought I had their next single, and got a call that wasn't happening. And that day is the day that I thought, well, I got absolutely nothing to lose at this point. And I sang this song called That's Why into my phone and posted it and went to bed. And then, it blew up. And then my life changed again, The
timeline of you being told that's not going to be a single,
Mm-hmm.
was it still cut by the artist?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going to be the single. The timeline of being told that and recording the song was what?
The song was recorded.
No.
Oh.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out when you're told it's not the single anymore, and that's crushing because that's where the money is.
Yeah.
So when you record a song into your phone, is it same? You say it's the same day, same week?
I'm not sure I'm totally understanding the question. Are you talking about this?
I'm calling you right now. Hey,
Uh-huh.
I'm artist. I'm Jimmy Jams, and
Yeah.
I'm not cutting your song as a single, and you're now heartbroken. When do you record the song that goes viral?
Okay, gotcha. So the song that went viral, I had written just with some friends of mine. So it was like a demo, and that's what I posted. It was like a piano vocal.
Oh, it
And
wasn't
then-
even you singing.
It was me singing, but it wasn't like it wasn't a full on record, right?
Did you do it that night?
That song, I don't know, it was a few months old. No, the song had just been sitting with me.
I'm not asking the question right. From being told you're not the single to you getting on your phone and recording that on
Uh-huh.
TikTok.
Different songs.
Correct.
Yeah.
But what's the time difference in them going up? This is not a single, and you going, okay, screw it, I'm just going to sing on TikTok.
2 hours.
That is my point.
Yeah.
That was exactly what I was leading it up. 2 freaking hours.
Yeah.
And I think that's also why it was so confusing, because that's almost like alien abnormal type stuff.
Totally. Doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
So you record it,
Yeah.
you go to bed, you wake up, you're like, well, how about that?
Mhm.
People, I guess, like this. What happens then? Does anybody like slide into the DMs to go, hey, I like your sound? Or do you let it build again? Because it doesn't just stop.
Right. So at that point, I was like, all right, I got to put this song out.
Yeah.
There's some like logistical things I got to figure out to do that. Maybe 3 weeks later, the song comes out. Far and away, like the biggest release of my career.
Did it stream?
Dude, like crazy. It was like, iTunes downloads. It was on the chart. I mean, it was the thing I'd always dreamed of happening. And here it is happening to me, and I owned it all. I mean, that was the craziest part. If this would have happened 6 months earlier, it still would have been life-changing, but it was life-changing to me financially when it happened, because I was, as we've just been over, like I was not necessarily in a great position to have a career in the music industry at that point.
What did you think your options were as soon as they said, hey, because it feels like your last life draft at that time was the single that was probably going to be cut by the artist. Well, what did you think your options were once they said that wasn't happening?
I think I'd gone through the thought work of being so low for so long.
Did you ever think of moving home?
No, I didn't, because my wife, I very vividly remember we went out to Utah. We went to like, what's the one with I think it's called Arches. I was going to say the one with the arches, but Arches. And you drive from Salt Lake. It's like a 4-hour drive. And I was like, look, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I can keep doing this. Like, I don't know if I have it in me to keep going. And she told me, she was like, look, you're too good and you're too close to give up now. You have to keep going.
What's funny about you saying that is the fact that she could see how close you were, but you felt so far away at the exact same time.
Yeah. And there have been many times since then where, she's believed in me. You need that belief. I'm so lucky to have people in my life like that. And ultimately, you got to believe in yourself. And that can be the hardest one. That can be the hardest one to find of all.
I think some of it, though, is that you look like Jesus.
I get it.
People are just like, you know what? The guy looks like Jesus. Let's give the song a stream.
Yeah, I get Jesus and Diet Ryan Hurd a lot. Wish version
that's
Ryan
funny.
Hurd. Yeah,
JV Ryan Hurd.
Yeah,
that's funny. I'm really good friends with Ryan. I was texting with him last night.
Yeah,
he just put out a record that's really good.
It's so great.
You wrote on? Did you write on that one?
No, I didn't write on that one. I wrote on the one before.
What'd you write for him before?
What are you drinking?
That's a good one too. I'm a big Ryan fan, so so
same.
I know all of his stuff. Just because we're friends, and if I don't, he'll quiz me, and then I'll be a loser. But that's a great song.
Yeah.
So I was looking through some of the cuts. Ryan, don't tell me.
Okay.
Cody Johnson.
Yeah.
I don't know what was the song.
Wished It Was You. It's on the record that just came out.
How so not a single, but how does Cody's albums?
He's a big artist.
Do well.
Yeah.
And it's hard to make money if your song is not a single. But are you seeing anything off of that? But not being a single, but because it's Cody and he does stream so well.
I think I will. It's like for those people that don't know, there's a lot of lag time in between when a song comes out. I think that record came out in the fall, and so I haven't even seen. It'll be whatever June quarter is before I see any of it.
Not Creed. Nickelback.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. That was a weird one. Please. Long story short,
I want long story mid at least.
Yeah, so my publisher at the time, this guy named Will Overton, he was over at Warner Chappell, and he got an email from somebody who was working with Nickelback, and they were looking for songs. I don't even remember what the prompt was. What the prompt was not what the song was about.
So you didn't have the song already to give them. They gave you the prompt for something they were looking to have, so you went and wrote it.
No, the song was written. Somebody reached out to my publisher and said, we're looking for songs like this. Do you have anything?
Got it.
So my publisher put together a link of like, I think it was like 6 songs and just sent it over. And this happens all the time, and it never works. Never.
It's like an audition.
It never happens.
Yeah, you never get the audition.
And
projecting, because I never get the audition.
Yeah. And I think it was probably 6 weeks later, he gets an email or a call, and it says, hey, this is Chad's favorite song. He loves this song. And so Will called me and told me that, and I'm like, okay. Like, what? Like, what does this even mean? He's like, I have no idea.
Oh, that was it? There was no other... It was just his favorite song. It's not like, hey, he's going to cut it. Hey, he has cut it.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you're like, I think he's going to cut it.
Yeah, but it's just right now, it's just he likes it.
He likes it.
Yeah.
So, all right, we're dancing. We're at the dance. It's a good spot to be. 2.5 years go by.
Holy
So
crap.
I'm, I've moved on. I had this like jet ski in my mind that I was going to buy with that money, and that dream had died. And then it was like after I was on the road. I was driving back from a show in Houston, I think. It was in like a Walmart in like Little Rock or something, and I just get a text, and it's the song.
The file, they'd cut it and they sent you the file.
They'd cut it. And he and Chad came in, and like he had like tweaked a couple things, and then that was the song. And it was like, I mean, it was crazy because Nickelback's Silver Side Up was the second record I ever bought, when I was 12. And
Everybody had it.
Yeah, it's a great record.
It's a great record.
Yeah.
They have great songs. And I am a hater of Nickelback haters. You don't have to be a Nickelback lover, but there's no reason to be a Nickelback hater just because they make good freaking music.
Dude, people hate stuff that's popular, I think that's all it is. I was just talking to Chief, who's was their manager and is now their manager again, and yeah, it's just one of those things. Everybody hated FGL for a while for some reason, and
Well, mine were personal reasons, but yes, I understood that.
yeah,
Coldplay. If you get so big, you get corny, even if you're not.
yeah,
My question has been, and I've asked it a couple times to friends and even on this podcast, like, I'm waiting for Morgan Wallen to get corny.
mm-hmm.
Even if nothing changes with what he does, you reach a level of popularity where it doesn't matter how great. You can be sustained greatness.
Yeah,
But once you hit this level of so many people love you, then it's corny to also be one of the people that loves you.
yeah.
And so I wonder when Morgan Wallen gets corny. And he's
I
not
don't
there
know.
yet. But it's just a popular, when you get so popular,
Yeah.
you get a bit corny. Only because you're so popular.
Yeah, well, it becomes it almost like the potency of what you're doing almost gets diluted because so many people start doing it as well. I mean, you see it happening right now with Morgan. A lot of people are chasing that sound, and it's a great sound. So I understand it.
And I could even understand why people would go, wow, that doesn't feel nice. Like you're saying Morgan Wallen's corny. No, I'm saying I'm using Morgan Wallen as the standard of when you look at massive acts
Yeah,
who got so big and so many people loved them that it was no longer cool to be one of the people that loved them because so many people love them that you're just part of the herd and nobody wants to be part of the herd.
yeah,
And so it's cool to see Morgan. It's cool to see like Zach Bryan. It's cool to see Luke Combs not be corny yet
mm-hmm.
and be able to do stadiums.
Yeah,
Because that's about the time when you become so popular, people feel like, I don't want to be a fan anymore because everybody loves them. Can you get to the magic, though? Because I don't feel like you actually can. I feel like I can't. I'll never get to this place that I am pursuing. That doesn't mean I've stopped or tried any less. I just don't know if that place exists. But that doesn't mean it's not true. Can you get to, is there a magic place that you can get to and be fully fulfilled?
You have to, for me, I can only speak for my own self. I think you have to fall in love with what the process is and not what the result is. And so there's a moment that there's a place that you can go to when you were writing a song where you are. Craig talked about it a little bit on 10-Year Town, but where it's called like a thin place, where you are in the presence of something of like, the creator or the universe, whatever you want to call it. And I have been there a few times.
Do you know you're there when you're there?
A little bit, but it's kind of like you don't want to think about it too much. It's very surreal, and it's a very, very hard place to get to. It doesn't happen very often, but I mean, I think like I'm not a good golfer. but I'll play a few times a year. And every now and then you just hit one. You're like, oh my gosh, I could go pro. And songwriting's, it's similar, man. It's just some days you know you're in the presence of something really powerful, and that is like worthy of, for me, it's worthy of like dedicating my life to chase.
My analogy would be playing craps. You ever play craps at all in casino?
I love playing craps.
Okay. If I'm writing for whatever, book, jokes, if I'm just live on the air, feeling it, killing it.
Yeah.
If I'm at a table and I'm just throwing and I'm hitting points.
Yeah.
I'm not crapping out. I'm not in my head. I'm not going, well, I wonder when I'm going to crap out. I wonder how long this is going to go. I'm just in it, not thinking about it too much, because I think if I think about it, it's going to end.
Yeah.
But then when it's over, I'm like, holy crap. Like we went 40 minutes. I didn't crap out for 40 minutes. When I get in those spaces, it feels like I had a great run at the craps table.
Yeah.
And like I can slightly acknowledge it's happening, but I don't want to do it too much, because then I'm going to roll freaking 7.
Right. You're in the, I think what happens is you're very, very present. And so when you're in that creative place or at the craps table, you're so in the moment. It's almost like a bubble, right? You just don't, someone's going to come along and pop the bubble. You're just trying not to think about it.
The bubbles never live forever.
No.
But the bubble's pretty awesome to be in, and it's rare to get in it. So when you get in it, you really want to try to experience it without me having a complete inner monologue of why I'm experiencing, what I'm experiencing, when's this experience going to end? Is it ever going to happen again?
Yeah.
I run from that.
Yeah.
And just try to live in it. But dude, it's so cool to just see what you're doing. Again, I said that to you during the podcast, but then even after, like, I enjoy talking with you afterward too, because I was just like, hey, whatever you need, like, I see what you're doing, and keep doing it. And it sucks, but so does everything else that's awesome. Like, everything that's awesome sucks because it's supposed to suck, or everybody would be doing it.
Yeah, it's hard. But it's rewarding.
Yeah, both. And two things can be true.
Yeah.
It can suck and be awesome at the same time.
Yeah.
And sometimes not the exact same time, but sometimes things can suck until they get awesome, until they suck again, until they get awesome again.
Yeah.
And podcast is great. What have you learned from the podcast?
I think I've learned a lot about how much everyone's journey is. When I think about all the twists and turns in mine, I feel like an alien a little bit. You know, I think I've always felt that way my whole life, like I'm a little bit of an alien on the outside looking in. And so getting to hear other people's stories, you start to understand, like, that's kind of part of it. That's part of life. I've learned a lot from that, and I've gained a lot of inspiration from hearing other people's stories.
Other people's stories have made me not feel as alone in my group of aliens.
Yeah.
There are other aliens like me. I'll use alien too. I didn't think there were. And no other aliens exactly like me, but there are other aliens like me that go through the same struggles, mental struggles, imposter syndrome struggles,
Totally,
success struggles, comparison struggles. All of that's happening to all of us.
Yeah.
But since we're not talking about it, we're not seeing it. It's very much social media culture as well, right? Too, like, you only see the good stuff. You don't only see the bad. So then you think, well, my life's not as good as theirs.
Yeah, there's a disconnect, I think, that happens can happen on social media, where it does all look good, you know? And I think there's a real opportunity right now, just like we're having right now for honest conversations and authenticity, and I'm obviously, like, trying to figure it out as I go, and just trying to figure out how all of this stuff goes together, you know?
And the beauty is you will never figure it out, and it doesn't go together.
Yeah. probably so.
I mean, that's it. It doesn't go together, and we'll never figure it out.
Thank
But
you for
that's
the
what's awesome about it. Before you came in, we talked about the podcast, and what do you want to say about your music that's coming out? We talked a bit about it, but what do you want to say?
I think I'm just we went into it a little bit about that's why, and doing all of that music independently allowed me a lot of latitude to with income and resources to like create some stuff that I always dreamed about. Making the podcast is one of those. That is an offshoot of my success as a recording artist, and I wanted to make the record that I've always wanted to make without any kind of stipulations on what it needed to sound like, or it needed to have this hit or that hit or whatever. I just wanted to make something that I could work hard on and be very proud of and be excited to like put out into the world that I feel like is reflective of who I am.
You make any money on the podcast?
Getting there. I had a you really inspired me, actually.
I actually asked you that question on your podcast too.
And I said, I think I said no, which was true.
You did, but that's all. I mean, it's impossible. But yes, that's why I asked. I really wanted to know.
Well, you told me, I don't know if you remember this. We were talking afterwards, and you said, you were telling me about cold emailing people, and I'm like, okay, well, he's doing it. Why can't I? Like, I mean, I feel awkward, but I'm just going to do it, and Yeah, I did. I literally just copied you. I went on LinkedIn and I found some people that I thought might be a good fit, and I did some combinations to figure out this company's email format of this person's name so that I could get into their inbox, and it worked.
It's crazy. It's actually not crazy, but it's crazy. It's crazy because it's so simple.
Yeah.
But
it was awkward.
But so was recording that song. So was recording your song. After your single had been said no, it was awkward to put the phone up and sing a song into a freaking camera.
Yeah.
And then it goes viral.
Yeah. You just do it anyway. You do it when you're uncomfortable.
Dude, I'm a big fan. I was looking forward to seeing you again. I'm rooting for you. I watched your stuff.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's pretty cool. I don't even know you as the artist. It's what's crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's weird because sometimes people will be like, they don't listen to the radio show. They'll have watched Idol for years or whatever it was. They'll know me for these weird things. And I'm like, oh, I don't really think that's funny.
Is that disorienting at all?
I wouldn't say disorienting. There's just no orientation to it at all anymore.
Yeah. To any of it. It's just all in the soup.
It's all, yeah. And it's awesome. It's great. Yeah. Unless they try to stab you. Otherwise, it's great. And I'm famous, so fractured.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's famous, yet everybody's famous. And
yeah. Boy.
And like you said, there's a chance for if you just do it enough. There are no gatekeepers, actual human form gatekeepers. There's an algorithm we can't figure out, but it's a different gatekeeper, but at least it's not one that is going to get canceled for doing inappropriate things in an office,
Yeah. It's just it's some kind of
pulled out,
beyond understanding algorithm.
Everybody has a chance, though.
Yeah,
and everybody didn't always have a chance.
Right.
And everybody has a chance now.
Yeah, it's an exciting time.
Well, I'm a big fan. We put all your information down in the notes as well, and check out the podcast. And I'm gonna go and what Nickelback song was that?
Horizon.
Okay,
check it out.
That's my favorite Nickelback song ever. I don't even know what it is, but I'm gonna listen to it. That's pretty cool. That's pretty
I believe
cool.
you. I believed you when you said it. This you got a skill.
There's no way you believe that, but that's pretty cool to hear like somebody like a familiar voice singing something that you created in your brain. Regardless, that's cool.
Yeah, like the feeling of when I just press play the first time and the guitars are playing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's crazy. It doesn't make sense, but it did happen.
Check out 10 Year Town podcast, and everything else is down in the notes. Good to see you, Troy, and let's do this again soon.
All right. Thank you for having me.